Hi Krishna, dear devotees, welcome everyone for today's session. I think I've been seeing you all after a long time. Um, so in between we had this Be a Gardener campaign. It was really amazing. Many senior devotees association we could get and hear about Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we really thank each and every one of you for your contribution for Chaitanya Charitamrita set. It was really wonderful. Many of you have taken it and have distributed, and also many devotees have gone personally in the streets distributing Chaitanya Charitamrita set. Really amazing. So Mahaprabhu would be very, very pleased with this service. And we also got many, many senior Srila Prabhupada disciples and senior devotees, wonderful association, hearing from them. And I think the last few couple of weeks or few weeks, Ranjani Mai Prabhu very nicely hosted the various devotees from various dhams. They sharing their reflections from from what they have heard from all the senior Vaishnavas. So that's a kind of a reflection session going on for the last few weeks. So now, last week was we had this His Grace Mathura Kripa Prabhu, and also we had Srila Prabhupada disciple last week. Very nicely shared about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. As we all know, the Bhadra campaign is going on now, and it's a very auspicious time for us to meditate and take upon this reading of Bhagavatam, and also see how we can actually share the mercy with others. So we are hoping and praying that the last week of every month would be a special guest who would be speaking about the glories of Bhagavatam from various angles. So in that way, we will get the association of senior devotees as well. So now, what are we going to do? So today, we thought it will be very nice. We can discuss about some important life lessons from Nrsimha Leela. And because Nrsimha Chaturdasi is just a few days away, coming Sunday, which is 11th of May, is Lord Nrsimhadev's appearance day. So very special day. And many times probably we would have heard this pastime of Lord Nrsimhadev. Yet it is always very sweet and amazing and wonderful, and every time we can derive many lessons. Today, I'm not going to touch on the pastime or in general the life lessons, but we thought we will see it from a different angle of we see what are the different relationships we can find, the lessons we can find in Nrsimha Leela. So before I begin, because you see, when a pastime happens, when a festival happens, we all do go to temple. We see that if there is a abhishek, we take part in the abhishek. Then we take darshan of the Lord. We do offer our personal prayers, and we may even say some prayers, and probably some drama, some nice prasadam, fasting. These are all the key things we do on the day of the appearance day of the Lordships, like Nrsimha Chaturdasi, Ramanavami, Gaur Purnima. And then sometimes we may even take some resolution and try to see if we can follow. And so all these things happens on the day. And so we thought that, and we also, when we read a pastime or a story, there are many, personalities who inspire us to follow certain things in our life in a positive way. And there are personalities from whom we can learn what we should not do, or how we can actually overcome those negative attributes, from our heart. So there are, like positive and negative aspects in every pastime we see. There are certain characters who teach us how we should not be, and there are certain characters teaches us how we should be. So that's one way of looking into the life lessons. The other way of seeing is also what are the different kinds of relationship exist. See, in this world, everything is based on relationship, right? In a family, we see husband and wife, parent and children, and siblings, then friends. When we go to school, the teacher and student. So it's all about a relationship. And in this world, also, it's one of the hot topic because relationships enthuse us, inspire us, enliven us. At the same time, the toxic relationships or negative relationships demotivates us, even causes traumas in people's life. So there are positive and negative attributes to in relationships also. We see that because of some relationship failure, people even give up their life. So that's something extreme. So relationship is something a very common thing. In fact, every day, every moment, whatever many things we do in our life is for our relationships. So if you see in that angle, this Nashima Leela, there are many predominating relationships we can see. And those are ideal. There are ideal relationships, and also we can learn some lessons of how we should not be. So we will discuss on some of the aspects as time is short. We will try to, see how much we can learn from that. And before we begin, it will be very nice. We can also meditate on this beautiful prayer by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We generally know that when we pray to Lord Nrsingadev, all our obstacles gets removed. And Srila Prabhupada said the Lord comes in different form with different moods. When he is coming, in as Krishna is full of joy, bliss. Of course, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of all the avatars. He's avatari. But his mood is different. When he comes as Lord Ram, he follows all the values, etiquettes, as Maryada Purushottama. It's like how a person should be ideal, uh, you know. And we see that, when he's coming in the mood of, when he comes as Lord Gauranga, full of giving, Audarya, the very munificent, in the mood of giving, full of love and compassion. When he comes as Lord Nrsingadev, he's actually coming in the mood of giving protection. So that is a form of where we can take shelter and offer our prayers, so that we can be protected from all obstacles in the path of our devotion. So is it only we go to Lord Nrsingadev to overcome all our impediments? Here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, what are the different things we can actually, pray to Lord Nrsingadev? And such a beautiful, amazing prayer. So this prayer we can also do on the day of Nrsimha Chaturdasi. So we will see the meaning first. So this is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written 5 beautiful prayers in Sri Navadip Bhavataranga for receiving the mercy of Lord Nrsimha. These prayers are certainly assurance to all sincere devotees that the worship of Lord Nrsimha is purely in the line of aspiring love and devotion to Shri Radha and Krishna. Those prayers are as follows. So he says, the first paragraph we see, within my sinful heart, the 6 enemies headed by lust perpetually reside, as well as duplicity, the desire for fame, plus sheer cunning. At the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krishna. See, the acharyas are so wonderful, amazing in this world, They actually kind of very open book. They have nothing to hide. I am this person. But actually, they are not. They are pure devotees and their heart is filled with love, devotion, and compassion. Mm. But, they always consider themselves as very insignificant and full of sinful desires. That's their humility. So, this as conditioned souls or as practicing devotees, it is a wonderful inspiration for us to really go deep and reflect what we have in our heart. When the acharyas are singing with this humility, we can actually see these are the facts. For a practicing devotee, these are the impediments actually. the real impediments. So for us, it is like a real prayer to the Lord, that please really, kindly remove all these things. Mm. So that's a prayer we see here. ये दुष्टहृदये कामा आदिरिपुछाया कोटिनातिप्रतिष्ठाशा सत्यसादराया हृदयसोदानारा कृष्णेरवसाना नशिमचाराने मोरा एतो कामाना. Weeping, I will beg at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha for the benediction of worshipping Radha and Krishna in Navadipa, perfectly safe and free from all difficulties. When will this Lord Hari, whose terrible form strikes a fear into fear itself, ever become pleased and show me his mercy? Kandiyana simma pade magi bokakana nirapade navadvipe jugala bhajana. Baya baya paya yandra dashani sehari prasana hoibo kabe more daya kari. Even though Lord Nrsimha is terrifying toward the sinful souls, he offers great auspiciousness unto the devotees of Lord Krishna, headed by Prahlad Maharaj. When will he be pleased to speak words of compassion unto me, a worthless fool, and thereby make me fearless? यद्यपि भीषाणामूर्ति दुष्टा जीवप्राति प्रह्लादादि कृष्ण भक्ता जने भद्राति कभी वा प्रसन्ना होए सकृपा वचाने निर्भया करीबे ये मुदा किंचाने. He will say, Dear child, sit down freely and live happily here in Sri Gauranga Dham. May you nicely worship the divine couple and may you develop loving attachment for their holy names. By the mercy of my devotees, all obstacles are cast far away. With a purified heart, just perform the worship of Radha and Krishna, for such worship overflows with sweet nectar. स्वच्छन्दे वैशोहे वसा श्रीगौरङ्गदामे जुगाला बजाना हो रति हो नामे. मम भक्ता कृपा बले विघ्नजा बेदूरा सुदाचिते बाजो राधा कृष्ण रसपूरा. Saying this, will that delightedly play will that Lord delightedly place his own divine lotus feet upon my head. I will experience sublime love for the divine couple Radha and undergo the Radha Krishna and undergo the ecstatic transformations called Satvika. Falling on the ground, I will roll about at the door of Sri Nrsimha's temple. ये बोली कबे मोरा मसा का वो पारा स्वेया श्रीचाराने हर्षे दरिभे ईश्वरा अमनी जुगाला प्रेमे सात्विका विकारे दाराया लुटिबो आमी श्रीनरसिंहद्वारे ये दुष्टहृदये कामा अदिरिपोचाया कुटिनातिप्रतिष्ठाशा सत्यसादराय हृदय सोदानारा कृष्णेरवसाना नशिम्माचरणे मोरा एतो कामानाम्. Within my sinful heart, the six enemies headed by lust perpetually reside, as well as duplicity, the desire for fame, plus sheer cunning. At the lotus feet of Lord Narasimha, I hope that he will mercifully purify my heart and give me the desire to serve Lord Krishna. श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, पतराज प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hope you all are doing well, blissful in your devotional service. So, yes, so I just thought it would be very nice also to keep it little interactive, in the sense you can use the chat box also to write your comments. So, what do you think are some of the predominating relationships in Nashima Leela? So, Nashima Leela, we see so many wonderful characters, right? So, what are some of the characters or some of the relationship you could identify in Nashima Leela? Anything? Anyone like to share here? You can use the chat box, or you can. Lord and the devotee, excellent Mataji, Vashana Kishori Mataji, thank you. What else? Lord and the devotee, that's a one beautiful relationship. What other relationship we can find here in Nashima Leela? Any other relationship you could think of? Any other relationship? Father and son, excellent. Father and son. Let me see, anyone could find this particular relationship. Teacher and student, beautiful Shilpi Mataji. Spiritual master and disciple, Satyavati Mataji, very nice. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, these are the prominent ones, but you could see any other relationship. I'll give you a clue. This relationship is one of the main cause in externally, if you look at this pastime, this relationship is one of the cause for this whole Leela to happen. Or I would say, yeah, Lord as a protector and devotee, excellent Yogeshwar Prabhu. Bhakta Vatsala, yeah. I'm talking about relationship, like all of you have given nice relationship thing, like father, son, teacher, student, spiritual master and disciple, Lord and the devotee. There was one thing which triggered a person, and that actually enviousness of Hiranyakashipu. Okay, in what relationship can you put this one? Friends of Gurukul. That's very good, Abhishek Prabhu. Friendship also is one of the relationship, because Prahlad Maharaj is talking to all his friends. You are already there, almost enviousness of Hiranyakashipu, Kusuma Mataji, you are there already. What is that relationship? I'm not saying that relationship has become the cause, but there was one strong bond of relationship. And in that strong bond, one got affected. Wonderful, Varshana Mataji, brothers. Yes, brotherly relationship. Kusuma Mataji, you got it. So Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they were the two demonic brothers. We know that, right? And they were very close, of course. Demonic mentality. Birds of same feather flock together. And we see that Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Vishnu. So Hiranyakashipu was very upset and he became very violent and he really wanted to take a revenge. That this person is now my enemy. Lord Vishnu is my enemy and I would kill him. So that was the bitterness he had when Hiranyaksha got killed by Lord Vishnu. As Varaha, he killed, we know that. So that was one of the trigger we see in this particular pastime. Of course, it is all the arrangement of the Lord, but yet we see from the story point of view, this is one cause. Okay, so I thought today, of course, there are many wonderful relationships here which you have listed, and we can learn a lot from this pastime. But of course, we may not be able to cover everything. So I thought a little bit of a few relationships here we will speak. Mainly, I was thinking would go into the most prominent one is the spiritual master and disciple, and the Lord and devotee. So in other sense, the Lord and the devotee could be here Prahlad Maharaj constantly says that the Lord, you are my master, and the master and servant.
I don't want to speak.
So he, sorry, Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to share? Okay, so this is one of the relationships. So we thought, why we are talking about this relationship, because in that way we can develop our relationship with our spiritual masters or with the spiritual masters, because by knowing this relationship in this particular pastime, how Prahlad Maharaj, because here we see Prahlad Maharaj is the center of all relationship, mainly. His relationship with Narada Muni as disciple and, as spiritual master. His relationship with the Lord as, servant and master. And then his relationship with Hiranyakashipu as son and father. His relationship with all the other, the demons, friends, like the schoolmates. So as friends. So we see here the center is actually Prahlad Maharaj. He's our hero. And so when we take this relationship of disciple and, guru, it is quite interesting that if you take the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, we see that there is not really a conversation directly with Narada Muni and Prahlad Maharaj. Yet, this is one of the most, important relationship, presented by Prahlad Maharaj himself. I'll just read that one thing, and from there we will take it forward. That he mentions here that to Lord Nrsingadev, when he's talking, I'll just read that one. They're saying, my dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? This is 7 9 28. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, 28th verse. And it is considered as one of the very important primary verse when it comes to life lessons. Because if we see here, the Supreme Lord Himself is giving darshan, you know, face to face. He's seeing the Lord face to face. And the Lord is happy to give all benedictions to him, you know. And here Prahlad is telling that, how can I leave the service of my spiritual master? And he says, my first duty is to serve him. So the Lord comes second and the spiritual master comes first. So Prahlad Maharaj is also, as we know, he's one of the 12 Mahajanas. And Srila Prabhupada mentions, in the scriptures we see Mahajana ena gatasa panta. We have to follow the footsteps of the great Mahajans. So one of the Mahajan, Prahlad Maharaj, and he says, my first duty is to serve my spiritual master in front of the Lord. He's telling openly to the Lord. So that shows how important the strong relationship of Prahlad Maharaj as a disciple to his Guru. He has truly understood the position of his Guru. He has truly understood how important is a spiritual master. And also we see here an important point is the mood of gratitude. So he says that I am able to see you because not because I am a great devotee. I am able to see you because my spiritual master Narada Muni has kindly accepted me. That is the reason I am able to see you face to face. I have no qualification. And he also, he's not simply saying that, I am a fallen soul. He says, I am following the general populace and I am completely, in the blind well of snakes, I have fallen. And he's giving a detail to show that, I'm actually so fallen. So that means I am able to see you face to face is truly not because of me. It is because only of my spiritual master's mercy. So this shows the humility of, Prahlad Maharaj. The true humility of Prahlad Maharaj, he giving all his credit to the Guru. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he was, reporters asked him, oh, Swamiji, you were able to, open 108 temples and you could open so many farm communities and you expanded this movement so much and thousands of disciples, you must be really God. And Srila Prabhupada said, I'm not God. I'm not God. I am. He said that those who claim themselves as God is not G-O-D, they are devotee. And Prabhupada said, I am a servant of God. And he said, I want to correct myself. I am trying to be servant of God. And he gave all the credit. He said also when someone asked, and he said that the secret is that I just followed my spiritual master. It is only his mercy that I could do all these things. So a true disciple is someone who is actually, he knows, he always understands his real position as a servant. He doesn't take any credit for himself, rather gives all credit to his spiritual master because he's truly convinced that I am very insignificant and whatever I am doing, it is only because of the mercy of my spiritual master. Like as we know, this Mugam karoti vachalam pangum langayate grim yatkripatamaham mande Shri Gurum Tinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So, by the mercy of Guru, a lame can cross mountains, and a dumb can speak eloquently, and even a blind can see stars. So that's what the mood of all the acharyas, and that is the truth as well. We see that only by the mercy of Guru, Om Ajnana Timirandasya, you have opened my eyes from the darkness of ignorance. So here we see the Prahlad Maharaj's mood towards his spiritual master. Yeah, ideal disciple and an ideal spiritual master. Yeah, ideal disciple, a guru is someone who actually understands a spiritual master is non-different. Non-different in the sense he's a true representative of Krishna. And I should worship him and follow him like I follow, Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Saksha Daridvena Samassa Sasai. The Guru doesn't consider himself as, God. He considers himself as servant of God. But whereas a disciple should consider Guru as non-different, he should give respect non-different from Krishna. That respect equally as Krishna. That should be the mood of a disciple. And we see Prahlad Maharaj has got that mood and he gives all the credit, to Narada Muni. And very interesting is that Narada Muni, in the womb of Mother Kayatu, when Kayatu was carrying Prahlad in her womb. And she was in the ashram of Narada Muni. And Narada Muni is instructing, all this, the science of Krishna consciousness. But Kayatu could not listen. Why? Because Kayatu's mind was preoccupied with these two things. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport. These two things preoccupied her mind. What was that? She was constantly thinking, oh, I have to give protection to my child. She was always concerned about the safety and protection of the child in the womb. And the second thing, which was, in her mind, was that when Hiranyakashipu will return back, when her husband will return back. So, because she was occupied with these thoughts, even though she was sitting physically and hearing from Narada Muni, she couldn't hear. But whereas the child Prahlad in the womb of the mother could understand everything. And because he was already he was a liberated soul, of course. And because Narada Muni, when Kayatu was pregnant, and when the Devatas headed by Indra wanted to take her, and they wanted to wait till she delivers and kill the child, because they thought this is another demon coming up. There is a mini demon, coming up, because Hiranyakashipu has now gone to, perform austerities. So they took advantage of the time, and they want to, kind of, they arrested Mother Kayatu, and then they wanted to take her. So that time Narada Muni intervened and said that this child is already a devotee. So don't worry about, this child. So let the child be under my care. So in that way, he's very grateful, for the instructions that he received from Narada Muni. Just imagine, even inside the womb, what he heard, he was so grateful. And we see this gratitude is such an important thing. Yeah. And gratitude we can express in so many ways also. If someone is very thankful to somebody, we can, if somebody is really grateful, they can express it in three different ways. One is we feel grateful in the heart. Oh, this person has done so much for me. He has taught me so much. So I have to be grateful. That's like in a mental platform. Second one is we go and express to the person, I'm very thankful. You have taught me so much. Your mercy, I have learned all this. That's by words. And then gratitude in action. Is that what is gratitude in action? Is that, oh, the teacher has taught so many things. I will put that in my real life. I will execute it. And then that's a real way of showing gratitude, to someone who has given this valuable lesson. So we see Prahlad Maharaj is not just grateful mentally in his mind, not just grateful in words, but he is grateful in action. Because we see that later also he says that, let all the fools and rascals get delivered, then finally I will come. Mm. So he want to see that everyone gets the mercy of the Lord. Mm. That's what all the saintly people want. Narada Muni's mood is also to go and liberate all the fallen souls, how to connect them back to the Lord. So here, Prahlad Maharaj truly understood the heart of his spiritual master, a disciple of a higher caliber. So he is not just expressing gratitude by in just in mind or by words, but by action. So this is something very important for us also to see. And we know that teachers are of various levels or various types. In gurus also we have the Vartama Pradakshaka Guru, someone who has introduced Krishna consciousness, who have actually showed us the path of Krishna consciousness. And we have someone like who is actually guiding us. There are many people who guide us in our spiritual life in various period of time. And then we have the Diksha Guru who actually connects us formally to the Guru Parampara. So all these gurus, we have to be grateful. And we see this in the example of all the saintly personalities. And we see Bilva Mangal Thakur, the story of Bilva Mangal Thakur, where how a prostitute by name Chintamani, she intervened in her life. He was behind her, as we know. But one day, she made a statement saying that you have so much attachment for me. If you have even showed a smaller percentage of this attachment to the Supreme Lord, your life would have been perfected. He took that words very strongly to heart. And then, of course, we know the story how he became a very amazing, wonderful personality, Mahabhagavat devotee, you know. And when he compiled, you know, the songs and books, he mentioned Chintamani's name. He was very grateful to Chintamani. So this is the heart of a grateful person. They don't forget, okay, I learned it now, I am now in a different level. I just, forgot, who has given me what. But then what happens? We don't receive that blessings and mercy. So it's not that we have to associate with that person. See, for example, in the case of Bilvamangal Thakur, the prostitute, she's her activity is not bona fide or something which someone has to, associate with such personalities. So he took the instruction, he took it and followed it and connected himself, to achieve his goal of life. But he did not relate with that person because it was an not to be followed, you know. So sometimes, like, Srila Prabhupada's life also, we see that one of his friends told him that, let's go to Srila, Bhakti, meet Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But of course, that person didn't take up Krishna consciousness. But he became an instrument, or he showed the pathway, to come to, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned that as well. So in our life also, we may have somebody in some people's life. It could be own father, own mother, or siblings, or some friends, or whoever it may be. So this is a question we can ask for to ourselves. At least this Narshinga Chaturdasi is something for us to reflect inside and see. Do I remember the person, first of all, who has given me Krishna consciousness, who showed me this path of Krishna consciousness? Do I remember? This is a question genuinely we can ask to ourselves. Do I genuinely remember that person? Am I grateful to that person? That's something we can question to ourselves. Next, the Shiksha Guru. There are many, many guiding personalities in our life at various point of time. Am I grateful to those people? That is a second question we can ask. And the third, if anyone has already a Diksha Guru, or of course, Prabhupada is also Prabhupada is our primary Siksha Guru because of his books, because of his teachings. We are practicing this path of Krishna Bhakti. So, are we grateful to Srila Prabhupada? If we are grateful, are we grateful in mind? Are we grateful in words? Are we grateful in action? So, this is something for us to reflect. Similarly, if you have a Diksha Guru, this is the same question we can ask to ourselves. In what sense are we grateful? How are we expressing our gratitude? So these are some things which we can actually truly meditate, so that this is a foremost thing, because if this thing is not happening, then the next step of being grateful to Krishna is something a far off subject. If someone cannot become grateful, if we cannot become grateful to our teachers, to our spiritual teachers, how can we even can become grateful to Supreme Lord? Because in one sense we are not able to really relate to him, because these personalities, some at least, we are seeing them at some, we have seen them physically, and we have interacted with them, we have communicated to them. So if we cannot become grateful to these people, how can we become grateful to Krishna? And even Krishna, how he would be pleased? Because as we know, yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. If the spiritual master is pleased, Krishna is pleased. But if the spiritual master is not pleased, the whole world may be pleased. The whole world may say, oh, you are the wonderful devotee, you have this, you have that, you are doing this, amazing, excellent, fantastic. But if the spiritual master is not happy, or we are not able to have that grateful feeling for our spiritual master and that connection, what is the use of all these glories? Because certainly it is not going to please Krishna. So this is something, a foundational lesson or a foundational subject for us to reflect, to being grateful. Even when we go to school, college, university, definitely we are very grateful for all those who have imparted those academic knowledge to us, you know. And so if we have to become grateful to even those who have given our academic knowledge or material knowledge, what to speak about spiritual knowledge, and how we can actually please Krishna without, being grateful to these people. So here, this is the foremost mood we see in Prahlad Maharaj. Even though there are many, many stories are there, many things are there, finally he's telling this point. My first duty is to serve him. How can I leave him and come with you? So Prahlad Maharaj is, as an example, as Mahajana, is setting an example, showing by his own action the foremost lesson for us, to imbibe or to learn and understand and see. So, okay, these are all things fine. And how do we actually develop that? The relationship of a guru and disciple is a very broader subject and a very deeper subject. And this relationship is, is an eternal relationship. It is not just for this one lifetime. This is an eternal connection, everlasting connection. And this is a very sacred connection, sacred bond. And how do we actually deepen this bond is a question. Like, so how do we do that? What steps do we need to develop the deeper relationship with Srila Prabhupada? Because for us, he is the primary Siksha Guru. And if we have another Diksha Gurus, then of course, we see how do we do that. So this is something which we can reflect to develop the deeper relationship with our whole parampara. And Srila Prabhupada being representing the entire parampara, how do we deepen that relationship? So they say that deepening relationship happens how? If I know a person, I can develop any relationship for that matter. If I have to develop a relationship, I need to talk with them or I hear from them. And then, I need to spend some time. Time is a factor. We actually invest time in every relationship. Any relationship to develop, time is a very important element. If it is two lovers, they invest time to develop that love. Two friends, they invest time to develop their friendship. If an husband and wife relationship has to improve, they have to invest time for each other. A parent and a child relationship to improve, they have to invest time. And we know nowadays a lot of concerns raising between parent children relationship, because the children have a complaint that the parents don't invest much time on us, and the parent have a concern that the children are not giving, are not ready to spend time. So we see the element of time matters a lot. So if we want to develop in all relationship, this is a very fundamental element, investing time. And this time, when it comes to spiritual relationship of a teacher or a spiritual master and a disciple, we need to invest time as well in knowing more about the person. Uh, and how do we know more about the person? Of course, if the person is there in front of us, we can actually relate with them. Sometimes we don't even see our spiritual master, they are far somewhere traveling around. And if we take Srila Prabhupada, he says, I am available in my books. So we can understand the heart. Even in disciples, there are three levels. This is a first class, second class, and the third class. The first class is someone, let's come to the third class. Okay. Um, the third class is someone who is like the guru gives an instruction, or the guru tells, I want you to do this. He explicitly says, you know, and then uh, and then also the disciple finds it hard to do it. The second class is that the spiritual master says and the disciple makes an effort to execute those instructions. The first class is someone the spiritual master don't have to explicitly say. because the disciple has such a deeper connection with the Guru that he can understand the heart of the Guru. Like we see in some of the close relationship, you know, we see like even a mother and a child. The mother can easily understand a child is hungry or not, or the child needs me or not. Sometimes even they don't have to explicitly say, because it's a very deeper bond. Similarly, we see Srila Prabhupada says that one of the closest bond we see in the material world is a mother and child relationship. But we see that in a spiritual master also, someone who has that kind of a deeper connection, they can understand the heart of the Guru. So, if we want to develop a deeper connection with our spiritual teachers, could be our Diksha Gurus, could be our other teachers, other levels of teachers. To Srila Prabhupada, time is the most important thing. We invest some time, quality time. Quality time is important. And then we see that how do we hear their heart, or what they want, or what is their desire, or what they like, what they don't like, by hearing from them. So how do we hear from them? Now it is available in the form of lectures. Now it is available in the form of books. So when we invest time in reading book, when we invest time in hearing the lectures, then we are in a better position to understand their heart, understand what they like, and then we will be in a position to develop that connection. So, very important element of investing time is a common element we see in all relationship. And if we are not able to invest time for our spiritual teachers to receive that, then it's very difficult for us to develop any deeper connection with our gurus, with Srila Prabhupada, or anyone for that matter. So investing time is one of the foremost thing which we can actually see. How do we do it with our busy life, with busy schedules? How do we actually incorporate and develop a deeper bond? This is one element of investing time. And what to invest? Okay, we are going to invest time, but how do I use the time? And there are many elements we can do that. And then there is another thing. So this is something which, so hearing about a guru, or hearing about the spiritual master, or hearing from the spiritual master, both are important to develop a deeper bond. Because hearing about, I need to know the person, what kind of a personality, what he has done for others. That only actually inspires us. Like nowadays, there are many fans. We have football fans, tennis players, fans of film actors and actresses. So many different personalities. People get hooked to something, from them. That means they know about that person. You know, then only they can develop that. One cannot simply become a fan like that. If someone become a fan of somebody, that means they know some information about that person, which has touched their heart, or which has inspired them. So that's why they have become a fan. So similarly, if I want to develop a deeper bond with my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, then I need to know more about them. So hearing about them, like we have memories of Srila Prabhupada by various disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So amazing and heart touching when we hear those memories of Srila Prabhupada, what sacrifice he has done, various aspects. When we hear, it is actually, it makes us to feel, oh yeah, it develops that affection towards Srila Prabhupada. And when we hear about a guru like that, we develop that affection towards him. You know, so this is something to develop the deeper bond. So what else? Now it is an open forum to ask, is there any other way we can develop our relationship with spiritual master? Or from Prahlad's prayers or Prahlad's example, what else can we do this is to help all of us. I just shared something, but then you have something, you please use the chat box, or you can even unmute and share. What other things we can do to deepen our bond with Srila Prabhupada or to our spiritual master? What else can be done? Executing the instructions. As we said, that is gratitude in action. Prabhupada has got a lot of instructions he has given, to his disciples. I want this, like a Temple of Vedic Planetarium is one thing which Srila Prabhupada wanted, his disciples to manifest. And we see that everyone is trying their best, to do, to bring this to, manifest. So this is something where we can contribute. This is just one example. Srila Prabhupada wanted everyone to have, every gentleman should have a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he wanted all the books because he said, these books are not written by me. These books are personally written by Krishna, and he himself reads the books because this book goes, and even if one person reads even one sentence, one word, his life will be transformed. So if we go for book distribution, we are actually pleasing Srila Prabhupada. We are developing a deeper bond with Srila Prabhupada. So like that, there are so many instructions Srila Prabhupada has given. So if we take up those instructions, even one close to our heart, and then try to execute it, in that way we can develop a deeper bond and we can show our gratitude by action. So this is something for us to contemplate and see in, the Nashinga Chaturdasi, our prayer to the Lord. Okay, my dear Lord, this, sit and contemplate. We have few more days left. So what am I going to do for Srila Prabhupada? What am I going to, even before going to do, uh, how much I know about Prabhupada, how much I am actually having that affection for Prabhupada, how much I am actually feeling that gratefulness to Srila Prabhupada or to the spiritual master. So these are all something we can reflect and see how I can go more deeper. So that let me develop a deeper relationship, because we want to develop a better relationship with everyone, a, a deeper relationship with the spiritual master, a deeper relationship with Krishna, because if this relationship is not happening with Krishna, it's very difficult to happen. And also with our family members, in a right perspective, develop a bond, keeping Krishna in the center. How do we do it? Of course, we will talk on it on our next sessions also, because there are so many things to discuss, especially from Prahlad Maharaj's life. We see son and a father. In many of our families, not everything is very conducive. In some families, we see that everyone is favorable to Krishna consciousness. In some families, maybe one partner is favorable, another partner is not favorable, or the parents may not be favorable, the children are favorable. Different combinations we have, or relatives. So how do we actually handle, some life lessons we can take from the life of Prahlad Maharaj as well. How he's handling everything very cool, very patiently, high tolerance. We see how much tolerance Prahlad Maharaj has got. High level of tolerance. Hiranyakashipu has zero tolerance, and we see Prahlad Maharaj has 100% tolerance. And what not he has done. Own child is, we cannot find a father like him, definitely. But even after all these things, the way he is actually talking is amazing, isn't it? He says, "Oh, best among the Ashura kings." He still says, very respectfully, he calls him. He gives all due gratitude, all respect. And he presents his philosophy. He's not actually, it's not because, I want to have a better relationship with my father. So, whatever he says, I will say yes. No, he did not say yes. It is like we should not break the rules, but we can bend the rules. So here, Prahlad Maharaj, you see, very sweetly, he was very firm in what he wants to present, but he presented it in a very, very sweet way, without getting disturbed, very Vaishnava way, which is quite a very challenging thing. I personally feel that. And, when generally a person attacks us with in a very challenging mood, it's very difficult to maintain the cool and respond. And especially someone who is very, as a family person, comes with that kind of, This thing, it's very agitating, not just the words, but also we immediately connect with the body. Why the agitation comes? Because, oh, you're my father, you're my mother, you're my brother, you're my son, you're this, and you're talking like this. That's why we get very emotional, very disturbed, because we immediately connect with that bodily platform. Naturally, that's our conditioned soul naturally connects like that. That's why immediately we respond, get irritated, get upset, and behave. But because Prahlad is in a different level, he is like able to connect everyone in a different platform. That's why he could maintain his school. But of course, we being a practicing devotees, what can we do? So at least we can, let's not react immediately. Let's take a break. Okay, if someone is telling something, that's one lesson I'm trying to, kind of practice. Not easy though. But that if someone is saying something, throwing you so many things at your face, you just hear patiently. Don't respond for the time, that moment, because when something is coming with that force, and when we are not in a proper mood, it's better not to react, even by words or action. Just be patient, leave the place, or just patiently tolerate, and then we can contemplate what I should say, how should I say, and then we present it. Many problems can be solved. Of course, there are many other things also. But here we see how Prahlad Maharaj is such a cool way. He is actually presenting his fact, but undisturbed. And also throughout very respectful. He is nowhere condemning his father at any place. But he's keep on, throwing all the bad words, very disrespectful, very this thing. But Prahlad is so undisturbed. And also, not just that, for a person like he want to kill, Hiranyakashipu keeps on trying to kill, and we know big list of things he did to kill Prahlad, but Prahlad, nothing happened. Finally, he thought, now I am going to personally do something. And that's where he asked, whether your Lord is in this pillar or not. you know and there we see that, there also, what did Prahlad do when he was praying to Nashingadev said, you want any benediction? Then Prahlad said, then don't make me a merchant, because only a businessman can have these deals, that I give you something, you give me back something. Please don't make me a businessman. And then finally he says, then of course, Nashingadev gives all many benedictions, and then he says, one benediction, my dear Lord. My father, out of ignorance, has committed a lot of, sinful things. You please excuse him. So even though for a person who has done all atrocities, ready to kill him, but his mood is that he is praying for the well-being of his father. That's the heart of a devotee. That even for a person who is causing harm, who is actually giving you pain and suffering, how one should be actually very grateful. I mean, one should be in a prayerful mood for that person. Otherwise, only a heart which has no grudge can pray for others. If you have grudge for someone, because this person has done this, that person has done this, and if we keep on thinking that in our head all the time, and we are very, we have a grudge towards that person, 100% we cannot pray for that person. It's impossible. So this is also Prahlad's mood of forgiving. Now people are talking about let go. This is a very, very common word nowadays used, because everyone is disturbed in so many ways. We all have to let go of many things. And this is also, we see the mood of Prahlad. He didn't even take it inside, then only let go now. Only people who have taken inside has to let go. But in the case of Prahlad, because he's a liberated soul, nothing enters disturbing. Negative things doesn't even enter inside. But because we are practicing devotees, we do get disturbed. And in our life, at different point of time, we can expect this. Padam padam et vipadam. Every step there is a danger. So definitely the danger comes in various ways. In the form of a devotee, it can come. In the form of a family person, it can come. It can come in the form of a very close friend. In the form of anybody, it can come. But how are we going to deal it? Are we going to take it very seriously and going to be disturbed? We disturb ourselves and disturb others, or we are going to let go or become forgiving, because only a forgiving heart can pray for others. And if our heart is not, as you know, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayer here, lust, anger, envy, illusion, pride, all this he said, and many, many other kuti, nati, pratishta, fame. This is also another thing, because in our community of devotees, it's very easy to get disturbed by another devotee. Where there are more than two people, naturally there is a misunderstanding comes. We see that in the families. We may put a point, and another member in the family say, no, 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 I don't agree with this. It's common. It's something natural. In any relationship, this happens. So especially in a devotee community, also it's quite natural that we may get upset by other devotees, their actions, their words, or they may do something which is not in line with what is expected. But just because you have done, it's not that, yeah, we may sometimes have to take certain actions, yeah, to protect them in a proper mood of helping them, rather than actually keeping the grudge in the heart, because that's not going to help us, that's not going to help the other person also, and our own devotion life gets highly disturbed. Sometimes we may be right, but somebody may have misunderstood us. We can only pray to Krishna. Maybe we can arrange a meeting and talk and then open and clear out all the misunderstanding. But if the person, we cannot actually, if someone is not ready to, not willing to, then what we can do? In that case, we can only pray to the Supreme Lord, because He is in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So, my dear Lord, you are sitting in the heart. You please give them the intelligence to understand. So, this is something for us to develop the heart of forgiving. Mm. And let go all the negative things, because we don't want our heart to be filled with all these things, because these things are not the land where we can actually develop this beautiful bhakti creeper. No, definitely not. So our deepest prayer to Shri Lord Nrsingadev is that please take away all these things from my heart. We cannot expect an ideal world where nobody will hurt me. Nobody in the family will hurt me. Nobody in the relatives will hurt me. Nobody in my friends will hurt me. Nobody in the yatra will hurt me. And I can, in a bed of roses, I can follow my Krishna consciousness. No, that is something it is like imaginative thing. In reality, we have to expect disturbance from every side. But how are we going to deal? That is in our hands. So for that, we can pray to Lord Nrsingadev to give us that spiritual intelligence, that maturity, uh, to see everyone in the eyes of connecting everyone as servant of God, okay, and also dealing in a mood of in a Vaishnava way, forgetting all the negative things that has happened to us, and how to move forward positively. And my dear Lord, please fill my heart with that love, devotion, compassion, kindness, so that I can actually serve you with a proper spirit. Because if the heart is filled with anger, upset, grudge, revenge, how do we develop bhakti? It's very difficult. So these are the most important disturbances, subtle disturbances. We are talking about financial problem. Financial problem is a gross problem, which can be even sorted out. Gross problems, we can easily sort it out. But subtle problems, we won't even know. It is hiding inside. And it will not even show his face unless we reflect deeply. And until we reflect deeply and really admit what are the things we have and put it in paper and then pray to the Lord, I think it is like we are watering the bhakti creeper, and the weeds are also we are nicely watering. And one day the weed will grow so nicely, and the weed will take over the plant and the plant will die. So it's very important, as sadhakas, we are very vigilant where we are watering. Yeah, the weeds are also coming up, and we are also watchful to see the weeds are every now and then we are cutting the weeds as a gardener. We are gardener for our own, devotional creeper. We are our own gardeners. We have to regularly see. We are whether watering, we are cutting the weeds, which is most important thing. So Lord Nrsimhadev is known for removing obstacles, not just the external obstacles, but these subtle obstacles are the most dangerous one. So we like to pray to Lord Nrsimhadev. And this 1 week, we want to really reflect. This is a homework. We can sit and reflect. Oh, what are the things hiding? Oh, which Hiranyakashipus are hiding here and there? Let me put a list. My dear Lord, please, I'm so sorry I have all this. But not to become hopeless. We are very hopeful, not because we have got devotion or anything. We are very hopeful because we have Srila Prabhupada, we have the entire Guru Parampara, we have the most merciful lordships. They know we have all these dirty things, but they are very merciful to actually remove all these things also. So, with this hopeful mood, we want to list down all that which is bothering us and disturbing our devotional creeper. And then we want to sincerely repent and pray so that these weeds are removed. And we are actually nicely watering the plant and moving forward in our devotion life so that our relationship, all relationship becomes better, especially our relationship towards the spiritual master Srila Prabhupada becomes more pure and deeper. And in that way, we can develop a better relationship with Krishna. So with this note, I will end here. Thank you so much for all of you joining today here after a very long time. This is not I am sharing for all of you. This is for me to personally reflect, for my own purification, and if it helps you all, great. So I thought, let's go into this so that this will be a proper prayer for this Nrsimha Chaturdasi. So thank you so much. And if you have any reflections, anything you can share, maybe a couple of reflections. If you want to unmute and share, I would appreciate that. And then we have just a couple of announcements. Yeah. Any reflections, any comments, any corrections, devotees?
Is it okay, Mataji, if I ask one
Yes,
question,
please,
Mataji?
Prabhu.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Mataji. Such a wonderful class and elaborating the divine connection of Guru Sisya Parampara so beautifully, Mataji. Mataji, you highlighted one point like, Guru Shishya Param, like his relationship is going to be eternal, which you highlighted one point, Mataji. So just wanted to understand on more deeper level, Mataji, like for a person, if he has started bhakti in previous life
Mm.
and he came in devotional practice. So when we say like eternal relationship, are we highlighting Guru Tattva, or is this who is going to be the eternal Guru, or what? If you can highlight on little bit on this, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Thank you for the question, Prabhu. And I was hearing a lecture where I heard that the spiritual master actually is like he becomes like he's like an old friend in the spiritual world, and he's even when we go back to the spiritual world, he's there to guide us, you know, and the spiritual master's protection and mercy comes all the life we take. Once a person receives a bona fide spiritual master, because there could be many gurus, but a bona fide spiritual master's connection, once a soul gets a bona fide spiritual master's connection, and that connection is an eternal connection, till that soul goes back to spiritual world, that mercy flows in various ways. It can come in many other forms, but the spiritual master's mercy and protection is always there for that soul, unless otherwise that soul wants to withdraw from the mercy. Like it is like in some cases, the disciple rejects the spiritual master. So in that case, the disciple is cutting off that mercy and protection. But generally, a guru doesn't, reject a disciple, even a very, worthless disciple. The spiritual master never rejects. Generally, it is. We see that in some majority of the cases, it is the disciple, out of ignorance, rejects the spiritual master. So once a person gets a bona fide spiritual master in his life, then the spiritual master's mercy comes in various ways and guides him throughout his journey of life until he reaches in the spiritual world. Because the spiritual master is, just like any relationship is a reciprocal relationship, right? So that in this relationship we see that the spiritual master is in the mood of giving the knowledge, and he's actually taking the responsibility that I will take the soul back home, back to God. And the disciple, his commitment, like in every relationship there is commitment, like a husband has a commitment, wife has a commitment. Similarly, we see that there's a commitment of a spiritual master is that I will take back this soul back to spiritual world, and I'll you know give that spiritual knowledge and guidance and assistance. And the disciple side, the commitment is that I surrender to the instructions of the spiritual master, to follow the vows, and I surrender to the instructions of the spiritual master. So when this commitment is intact, and we see that mercy flows till that, and even after reaching the spiritual world, the guidance of the spiritual master continues. This is what scripture says. So what a glorious relationship is this, because we know that the only relationship which is eternal is the relationship between us and Krishna, the soul and the supreme soul, the supreme Lord. Because this connection, because the supreme Lord is sitting in our heart as Paramatma, and whatever life we are taking, whether in the body of a human, whether in the body of a dog or a cat or whatever, the Lord is always coming. Eternal relationship. He's always guiding us. He's always witnessing what he says. He's always concerned. And once we are back to the spiritual world, we are always with him, you know, being in his pastimes, continue serving him, So this is on eternal relationship we know. But then we see it is mentioned that the bona fide guru, because he's a true representative of the spiritual master, this connection is also eternal. So his mercy flows in various forms, we don't know in what form it comes. It can be through a book, it can be through a devotee, it can various ways. The helpline is given to that soul, and the soul is pulled back to the spiritual world, you know. So that is why spiritual master is very important, because the spiritual master's mercy and strength of the spiritual master, the disciple can be pulled back to the spiritual world. That is why we are holding on to they say that hold on to the chadar, the dhoti of the guru, because he's the only hope, that he can lift us up and take us back to the spiritual world. And that also happens when we at least sincerely follow. Like what Prabhupada once said, that you have to 100%, only a person who follows 100%, can go back to spiritual. Then everyone was so morose. And Prabhupada said 90%, then he did 80%, even 70%, one can go. So when the spiritual master is pleased with a disciple, then a greater chance that Krishna takes that soul back home, back to God. So it is like a person go to a workplace, for a new job. Of course, there are various levels of interviews he has to go through. There are 3 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels, even a higher level. And then there could be a HR and all that. And then finally there is reference required, right? And for us, the reference is a spiritual master. So spiritual master's reference, then yeah, we may have done all other things, but if the reference is not there, so the reference is a spiritual master. There are exceptional cases where someone who was extremely sincere in this thing, and who would have already done so many things in the previous life, and the mercy of the guru continues, that probably in this life they would not have formally accepted a guru, but that mercy from the previous lives has come, and then the person may go back to spiritual world. So that is exceptional cases still there. So the mercy, again, the mercy of Guru comes through that way. But it is, in that way, it is eternal. Does it answer your question, Prabhu?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Mataji. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prabhu. I think we could see the very nice some reflections. Would you like to read it, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure, Mataji. So, I think there was a question also from Ripak or Mataji.
Mm.
So, how can I stop myself from immediately reaction? Is there any formula, Mataji, and second, to increase grateful mind? What what's the way? So, two questions, Mataji. How
Ah,
to respond quickly, I mean, sometime. And second is how to be grateful mind, yeah.
normally they say think before you speak, right? Pause, take a pause. So we have to understand that, because before that we have to do a homework. How many times, at least, that because I have reacted instantly, many things has happened. So if we go back to that history and see certain prominent incidents, because of me reacting instantly, some repercussions has happened. Some great negative things has happened. So if we could sit and reflect those incidents and moments which has actually created a great negative thing, so then what happens, those experiences, if you can reflect back and remember, oh, I don't want one more episode, let me be careful. I am seeing a pattern that I am instantly reacting, and because of my instant behavior, I have caused pain to myself in this various incidents. And some are in a as is at intensity, small lighter intensity, some are very deeper intensity. So when we reflect on those and then we see that, oh my god, a lot of destruction has happened, okay, I think, let me be careful. Enough episodes have happened. Now let me let me not react. And we should immediately remember those negative things, what has happened. Oh, I don't want another thing to happen. So if we strongly convince, we have to have something to strongly convince our mind that if I react, oh my god, it's going to be a big blow. So if it is like, if you go and touch a fire, if I've already touched a fire one time, I've burnt it. Then second, oh, burnt it. Then will I go again and go and touch my, because I have a stronger now a realization that, oh my God, I already, it's like burnt it so much. So similarly, I need to have a stronger conviction or things what has happened before. Oh my God, I acted like this and this has happened. Oh no, no. I don't know. Immediately the mind will come there and say, hey, you did it before. And then the intelligence will kick in and say, hey, you didn't before. Then immediately the mind will calm down. Okay, I cannot do. So we have to convince our intelligence. That means we need to reflect back and get those incidents, how it has affected me, so that you're able to convince your mind. So that's one way of doing it. And that is like long term, because if we do it other short term, we can say, okay, walk out, take a water, drink a cup of water, many other things we can say. But this will help. This is one thing which will help you in the longer run, because it's a very, you're doing it very scientifically and logically. You're doing it. And then also, of course, we are prayer is something we keep praying to the Lord, because controlling any of the senses is very difficult, and mind is a master of senses. Our deep prayers to the Lord, in the chanting, we are begging and praying to the Lord, I have this, please help me, so that I can, that spiritual strength can control the mind's dealings. So that's one thing, prayer. And another one is, um, we convince that the intelligence should convince the mind, oh no, no, I don't want one more. Enough. So that's one thing. And to increase Grateful mind. You mean to say becoming grateful, right? Gratitude, right? So,
Yes.
so to become more gratitude, we need to also see that we write every single day. In the night before we go to bed, we can write. This is many people do this. They call it as a gratitude journal. They say, today I am thankful for these people. Every day we write few lines of somebody, at least three people I'm grateful for on the whole day. Somebody would have helped you in some way, or in the house, it could be in the office, it could be, or any devotee. The Lord's mercy flowing in some way, Guru's mercy flowing in some way, or some devotee's mercy. So we write. So in that way, we are developing the mood of gratitude. That's one way of doing it. And of course, prayers. Prayers are always there. And also to remember, now we don't want to be just grateful in mind and this thing. We want to step up, right? There are many devotees in our life who has actually done many things for us. So, and even for Prabhupada, all of these personalities. So let me number some people, list the devotees and see that how I am going to be grateful in action, what I can do. So in that way, even 1 month, 1 person, if we do also, in 12 months, 12 devotees, we can be grateful in action, isn't it? Huh? So just imagine then Prabhupada, how much we can do to the spiritual masters. So these are something it is always good to write everything. Otherwise, if we mentally think many things, it will be everything mentally only. Gratitude in mind, thinking in mind, feeling in mind, everything in mind. So to manifest anything, it's nice to write. So then we see that actually it is taking shape, because we can go back and again reflect, oh, I couldn't do this, okay, let me try, let me do this, like that. Beautiful question. Thank you, Ripa Mataji. So Kanchan Mataji, reflect deeply and offer to Lord as sadhakas. Be vigilant. We are own guardians. Lord Nrsimhadev removes subtle obstacles which are more dangerous. Let's down with hopeful mood to remove the weeds so we improve relationship with our spiritual master and have a better relationship with Krishna. Pray to be more forgiving towards others, remove all grudges and move forward positively. Wonderful, you summarized it. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, it's a very beautiful subject I mean, many things to discuss. I mean, I couldn't really go deep into this. I could only touch upon a bit of this and that. But at least thought something before Nashima Jayanti, we can actually meditate. The announcements, Ranjani, my Prabhu, any other announcements?
From my side, Mataji, I see like Sachin Poo was asking a lot of volunteers
Uh-huh.
the services in Soho Temple on 11th, Mataji.
Nashim Chaturthi.
So if devotees can reach out to their respective service leaders, uh, because
This
that is on
is
Sunday day, many devotees
this is
can go to the
gratitude in
temple and help.
action. Gratitude in action. We can perform devotional service. So we have a greater opportunity on the day. So please reach out. And it is a Sunday also. This year it is coming on a Sunday. It's a great advantage. And in a temple there are a whole lot of programs happening. Even drama this time, East London devotees are doing it. So we can all try to do some seva possible that day. That'll be really nice. That's something, gratitude in action. And then also we have this that shloka one. Bhagavatam, there are different level of shloka memorization challenge going on. We have 4 months there, and then only in September we have to share these verses. They have different levels, level 1, level 2, even 6 verses we are doing, that's level 1, very simple verses. And of course we can go to the entire second canto, which is 34 verses. That's a different level. So this is a challenge. We all can enroll ourselves. Sorry. Either few verses at least we can join. We can encourage our children also in all the kids PV and teens PV everywhere. So in that way, we can get in touch with the transcendental words of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's all from my side I could think of now. Anything else, Pramod?
No, Mataji, you covered Mataji so far.
Thank you,
I think
Sunita
Sunita
Mataji.
Mataji has mentioned, thank you for this wonderful session, Mataji. What a great way to revive relationship, taking Prahlad Maharaj an example. So, thank you, Sunita Mataji, for joining us.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining. Yeah. So let's see in this angle and see how much we can take it from this wonderful Leela. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. We will meet next week. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna,
Thank
Mataji.
you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much.